The almighty warrior of the female president. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 31. Yao Chi Wang. After leaving the company, Xiao Chen thought of something and turned his head to ask, Dahan, you haven't told me what disease your mother has. Li Hanho's expression darkened, and his huge body trembled a few times. Lung cancer, advanced stage. Advanced stage lung cancer? Xiao Chen's hand holding the steering wheel also trembled. Originally, he thought it was a common disease, and he could treat it. But for advanced stage lung cancer, there was nothing he could do. This is a terminal illness, and there seems to be no good way in the world to treat it 100%. When we first came, the doctor said that if we actively cooperate with the treatment, there is still hope. Later, the doctor said that there is no hope and let us go home. Look of pain flashed across Li Hanho's face, and his fists were clenched tightly, with veins popping out on his thick arms. Dahan, birth, aging, illness and death are things that no one can do anything about. Xiao Chen said comfortingly. They clearly said there is hope of cure, why did they say it can't be cured later? I don't want my mother to leave me, she is the only relative I have in this world. Li Hanho became emotional, and tears as big as beans rolled down. Xiao Chen looked at the painful Li Hanho, and wanted to comfort him a few more words, but he didn't know how to say it. Should I tell him that because you went there with money before, the hospital said it can be cured, and when you spend all the money, they will let you go home and wait to die? This may be the reality, but it is too chilling to say it out loud. Woo, I don't want my mother to die. The big man suddenly cried like a child. Xiao Chen slowed down the car and patted Li Hanho on the shoulder. Dahan, don't cry, maybe there is always a way out, maybe a miracle will happen, maybe your mother will not leave you. Really? Li Hanho raised his head and sniffed. Well, really, Brother Chen won't lie to you. Li Hanho nodded and wiped his tears. Well, my mother is a good person, and I don't think God will let her die. Yes, good people live a peaceful life. Xiao Chen looked at Li Hanho with tears on his face, smiled, and made a decision in his heart. When passing by a shopping mall, Xiao Chen stopped the car and bought some nutritional supplements, and then found a herbal medicine shop to prepare some mild supplements. Hello, sir, what supplements do you need? The staff of the herbal medicine shop came forward and asked with a smile. Do you have all the materials? Sir, this is the largest herbal medicine shop in Longhai. Whether it is Chinese herbal medicine or other materials, we have everything. There are also Chinese medicine practitioners and professional herbal medicine chefs over there. You can go over and consult them. No, give me a pen and paper, I have my own prescription. Xiao Chen shook his head and said. The staff was stunned, but still took out the paper and pen and handed it to Xiao Chen. Sir, if it is your own prescription, then our herbal medicine shop will not bear any responsibility, and our herbal medicine shop needs to let the herbal medicine chef review it. Well, no problem. Xiao Chen took the paper and pen, thought about it for a while, and wrote a prescription on the paper. Brother Chen, do you know this? Li Hanho was a little worried, after all, this was something for his mother to drink. Believe me? Xiao Chen asked. Li Hanho nodded without hesitation. Although he was simple, he was not stupid. He could feel that Xiao Chen was really good to him. Xiao Chen smiled and handed the prescription to the staff. Give it to your herbal medicine chef for review. Xiao Zhang, show me this prescription. Suddenly, an old man in a tang suit next to him said to the staff. Hello, old medicine chef. When the staff saw the old man, his expression became extremely respectful, slightly bent down, and presented the prescription with both hands. Xiao Chen looked at the old man with curious eyes. Who is this person? From his clothes and temperament, it can be seen that this old man is not an ordinary person. Could he be the owner of the herbal medicine shop? When the old man saw Xiao Chen looking at him, he smiled gently and said, My friend, I am also half a herbal medicine shop person. Let me help you review it. Old sir, please. Xiao Chen smiled and nodded. He didn't care. It didn't matter who reviewed it. The old man looked at it carefully. The more he looked, the bigger his eyes became, and the more surprised he looked. Then he suddenly raised his head and looked at Xiao Chen and asked, My friend, can I ask what kind of patient this herbal medicine recipe is prescribed for? Haha, what do you think, old sir? Xiao Chen smiled slightly and also had some thoughts. Haduinia cordata, spicy, cold in nature, enters the lung meridian. Northern adenophora, sweet and light, cold in nature, enters the lung meridian. Ophiopagon japonicus. Judging from these Chinese medicines, the patient's lesions should be in the lungs, right? Xiao Chen nodded, yes. And hediotus diffusa, could it be lung cancer? The old man continued. The old sir is right, advanced lung cancer. Then can I ask, what are the effects of these herbs? It is clearly a prescription for clearing away heat, detoxifying, and dispersing lung heat. Why are there fishy and hot herbs? The old man pointed to the herbs on the paper. Haha, old sir, you are very talented. If it were an ordinary Chinese medicine practitioner, I'm afraid he would question me. Why did I randomly add these herbs, but you didn't? I guess you saw something. Xiao Chen said with a smile. The old man was stunned, and then he also laughed. Haha, why don't you think I'm a mediocre person? If I don't understand the prescription, I won't point it out, right? That's right, but I think since this place can become the largest herbal medicine shop in Longhai City, it shouldn't keep mediocre people, right? The old man was stunned again, and gave a thumbs up. Young friend, your insights are unique, would you like to talk about it? Okay, but let them stew the herbal medicine first. The old man nodded and handed the prescription to the staff. Xiao Zhang, make the herbal medicine according to this prescription, and do it carefully. Yes, old herbal medicine. The staff nodded respectfully and turned to make arrangements. Young friend, please come in. Old man made a gesture with one hand and walked inside with Xiao Chen and Li Hanho. When they arrived at the room, the old man asked the two to sit down and then asked impatiently, I have seen similar statements in an ancient medical book before, but because the medical book was incomplete, I didn't fully understand it. Later, after my research, I found that what was said above was feasible. Hee, old man, is this ancient book you are talking about the yin-yang medical classic? Xiao Chen asked with a stir in his heart. The old man stood up suddenly after hearing this. How did you know? Hee, if I say I have read the whole book, will you believe it, old man? Xiao Chen said with a smile. The whole book? That's impossible, right? I got a fragment by chance. The old man was a little uneasy, no longer as calm as before. Xiao Chen did not explain much, but recited a passage from it, which made the old man completely upset. This was exactly the same as the content of the incomplete copy he got. My friend, I wonder where you learned medicine from? I learned from an old fortune teller. Old fortune teller? The old man was stunned. Learning medicine from a fortune teller? Why is it so weird? Old sir, the prescription just now is like this. Xiao Chen did not talk much about the master-disciple issue, but talked about the prescription. The old man sat up slightly, listened carefully, and occasionally raised his own questions and opinions, and discussed with Xiao Chen. Beside him, Li Hanho was also very happy. Although he did not understand what Xiao Chen said, he could make the old man listen like a primary school student, which showed that Brother Chen had real skills. Wonderful, wonderful. More than 10 minutes later, the old man patted his thigh and smiled. Listening to my words today is really better than reading medical books for 10 years. Haha, old man, it's serious. Oh, I was so busy asking for advice that I forgot to ask what your name is. The old man thought of something and asked. My last name is Xiao, and my name is Xiao Chen. Okay, Xiao, this is my business card. The old man took out a business card and handed it to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen took it. The business card was very simple. It said Yaoqi Wang on it. In addition to this name, there was a number and no other introduction. But such a simple name shocked Xiao Chen's heart. Is it really him? Just now, when the staff called him Yao Lao outside, he thought of a person, Yaoqi Wang, the honorary president of the Chinese Medical Association, the leading figure in the Chinese traditional Chinese medicine community, and one of the 3 famous doctors in China. Because the surname Yao is rare, and the old man has an extraordinary temperament and a strong smell of Chinese medicine, so he guessed in this direction, and he didn't expect that he was right. Yao Lao, I have heard of your name. Oh. Haha, it's just a false name, let's not talk about that, let's not talk about that. Yaoqi Wang was stunned, and then waved his hand. Haha, Yao Lao, why are you here? Xiao Chen asked curiously. Oh, this herbal medicine shop is opened by a nephew of mine. It just so happened that I had something to do in Longhai these few days, so he asked me to come and take a look in my spare time. I didn't expect to meet Xiao Xiaoyu, it's really fate. So that's the case. Haha, it's really fate. I didn't expect to meet the leader of the current Chinese medicine community in China by just choosing a herbal medicine shop. I've said it before, let's not talk about those false names, and my little Qi Huang technique is nothing in front of you. You have read the full version of Yin Yang medical classics, and you will surely shine in the future. Brother Chen, is this old man, no, this old gentleman very good at medicine? Suddenly, Li Hanho asked. Well, Yao Lao is one of the 3 famous doctors in our Chinese medicine community. Xiao Chen nodded. Then can he save my mother? Li Hanho asked excitedly. My dear friend, what is your mother's disease? Yao Wang looked at Li Hanho and asked. What hall? Li Hanho didn't understand. That is, what is your mother's disease? Yao Wang was stunned for a moment, and then changed his statement. Advanced stage of lung cancer, miracle doctor, can you save my mother? As long as you cure my mother, I will be your slave for the rest of my life. Li Hanho said loudly. Yao Wang's mouth twitched a few times. Advanced stage of lung cancer? Even if he is a famous doctor, he is not sure about this terminal illness. Episode 32, Get Out of the Ward. After listening to Li Hanho's story, Yao Wang was also moved by his filial piety and decided to go to the hospital with him. More importantly, he wanted to make friends with Xiao Chen, and also wanted to know if this somewhat mysterious young man had any special way to treat lung cancer. Xiao, which hospital is Li Hanho's mother in? Longhai Second People's Hospital. Hearing that it was the second hospital, Yao Wang raised his eyebrows and smiled. I have students working there, maybe they can help. Xiao Chen knew what Yao Wang was thinking, and laughed in his heart. This old man must have been hooked by the Yin-Yang medical classic. If he knew that the old fortune teller had wiped the ass of the Yin-Yang medical classic, he would probably jump up. Okay, then I'll trouble you, Mr. Yao. No trouble, we'll set off after the medicinal food is ready. Yao Wang waved his hand and pointed to the fragrant tea brought by the staff. Come, Xiao, let's drink tea first. About half an hour later, the medicinal food was ready, and the 3 of them left the medicinal food shop with the medicinal food. Xiao, what do you think of medicinal food? Yao Wang did not miss any opportunity to communicate with Xiao Chen, and on the way to the hospital, he did not forget to find something to talk about. Haha, there is a saying since ancient times that medicinal supplements are not as good as food supplements. The so-called food supplements are now medicinal food. This method is milder and healthier. Xiao Chen expressed his own opinion. Yao Wang kept nodding his head, that's right. Keep healthy in normal times. When you get sick, it's too late. So, when my nephew wants to open a herbal medicine shop, I agree. While chatting, they came to the Second People's Hospital, parked the car, and went straight to the inpatient department. A few minutes later, in a 3-bedroom, Xiao Chen met Li Hanho's mother. What was a bit unexpected to him was that this was a thin woman. It was hard for him to imagine that such a thin woman would give birth to a son with a burly and huge figure. Li's mother was sleeping, her face was pale, and even in her sleep, she flashed a look of pain from time to time, and it can be seen that she was suffering from the disease. Maybe she heard the noise. Li's mother woke up slowly, and when she saw Li Hanho, a kind smile appeared on her face. Dahan, you're back. Mom, I'm back. Li Hanho nodded and picked up the herbal medicine in his hand. Mom, Brother Chen bought you some delicious food, would you like to eat some? Brother Chen? Upon hearing this, Li's mother looked at Xiao Chen and Yao Wang behind Li Hanho, and tried to sit up. Dahan, these two are. Auntie, my name is Xiao Chen, and I'm Dahan's colleague. Xiao Chen said with a smile. Colleague? Yes, Dahan has been successfully hired. Oh, hello. Li's mother seemed very happy to hear that her son had been successfully hired. Auntie, this is Yao Lao, he is a famous Chinese medicine doctor in our China, and this time he also wants to diagnose you. Xiao Chen introduced Yao Wang to Li's mother. Li's mother was shocked. Yao Lao? Could he be the famous Yao Wang? It is said that it is difficult to get a prescription from Yao Wang for 1,000,000 yuan, how could her son invite him? Impossible, the old man in front of him is definitely not Yao Wang, just with the same surname. Hello, let me help you feel your pulse. Yao Wang smiled friendly at Li's mother, and then sat next to her. Although Li's mother was surprised, she remained calm on the surface and handed her hand to Yao Wang. Excuse me, Yao Lao. Yao Wang put his fingers on Li's mother's wrist. After 3 or 4 minutes, he shook his head slightly at Xiao Chen, indicating that he was already terminally ill and incurable. Yao Lao, if you have anything to say, just say it directly. Li's mother noticed Yao Wang's actions and said softly, you know your own body. In fact, I have been prepared for it. Yao Wang looked at Li's mother and sighed, it's already very serious. I don't have any good way. At most, I can make you less painful. These words, spoken by Yao Chi basically sentenced to death. As one of the 3 famous doctors in the Chinese traditional Chinese medicine community, there are really not many diseases that can be treated by him. Of course, there are exceptions. There are masters among the people. Although Li's mother had been prepared, her eyes dimmed when she heard this. She was not afraid of death, but she was reluctant to part with her honest and straightforward son, fearing that he could not take care of himself or be led astray by others. The smile on Li Hanho's face froze. This old man couldn't save his mother's life? Perhaps Yao Chi couldn't bear to let Li's mother lose hope of life, and comforted her again. You don't have to think too much. Attitude is very important. Maybe a miracle will happen. Li's mother forced a smile and nodded. Thank you, Yao Lao. Auntie, let me help you take a look. Suddenly, Xiao Chen stepped forward and said. You. Li's mother looked at Xiao Chen's young and handsome face and was stunned. He also knows Chinese medicine? Haha, I learned Chinese medicine from my grandfather for a few days, and I have read a few medical books, so I want to diagnose you. It happens that Yao Lao is here too. If I say anything wrong, he can also point it out to me. Xiao Chen said very modestly. Yes, mother, let Brother Chen take a look at you. Yao Lao was learning from Brother Chen just now. Next to him, Li Hanho heard what Xiao Chen said and suddenly he was full of hope and said loudly. Xiao Chen curled his lips. This fool, even if he thinks I'm great, he doesn't have to say that, right? How embarrassed are you to make Yao Lao feel? He secretly glanced at Yao Chi. Sure enough, this famous doctor who was respected as the master of Chinese medicine was twitching at the corner of his mouth. Dahan, don't talk nonsense. Li's mother scolded, then looked at Yao Lao and smiled apologetically. Yao Lao, don't mind, this child is just like this. Haha, it's nothing, it's rare to have a pure heart. Yao Chi smiled and shook his head. Chin sat down. Auntie, give me your hand. Okay. Li's mother did not refuse and handed her hand to Xiao Chen, even though she didn't think that this young man could see anything. Xiao Chen stretched out his index finger and placed it on Li's mother's pulse. He slowly closed his eyes and carefully felt the pulse. Yao Chi looked at Xiao Chen's pulse-feeding technique and his eyes narrowed. One finger hanging on the pulse? Time passed by, and Xiao Chen's expression was not as relaxed as at the beginning. Sometimes he frowned, sometimes he was gloomy. Li Hanho couldn't stand it anymore. He wanted to ask what was going on. But he was afraid of disturbing Xiao Chen, so he could only hold it in. His face turned purple. Hey, you're finally back. I thought you abandoned your mother and ran away. Suddenly, a man in a white coat walked in and pointed at Li Hanho and shouted. Keep your voice down. Don't disturb Brother Chen from treating my mother. Li Hanho frowned and stared at the man in the white coat. See a doctor? The young doctor was stunned. His eyes fell on Xiao Chen, who was taking Li's mother's pulse, and he showed a sarcastic smile. Li Hanho, are you honest or stupid? Your mother is in the late stage of cancer and there is no hope, and you actually found a Chinese medicine doctor? Haha, let's forget about the Chinese medicine doctor, but he is so young, obviously a charlatan. Shut up. Li Hanho was furious, took a step forward, grabbed the young doctor's collar, and lifted him up with a little force. Ah. The young doctor's feet were suspended in the air, and his face turned pale with fear. Why did this guy still hit him? Dahan, put him down, don't hit him. Li's mother saw her son's action, her face changed, and she hurriedly said. Li Hanho stared at the pale doctor, then looked back at his mother, and then gritted his teeth and let go of his hand. How dare you hit someone? It's too barbaric. I must drive you away today. The doctor landed on his feet, stepped back a few steps to distance himself, and pointed at Li Hanho and shouted. Get out of here. Get out? You should get out. Humph, you owe the hospital so much money, but you refuse to leave. I'll call the security guards to drive you away now, and then let the police arrest you. I'll let you out when you pay back the money you owe. The doctor shouted loudly, attracting many people in the corridor to gather around. Dr. Chen, don't be angry. Didn't Dr. Hua say that we can just wait until Dahan makes money and pay him back? Li's mother forced a smile and said no. Make money? How much can he make? 3,000 or 5,000 a month? When can he pay it back? If Hua Ishuan hadn't guaranteed it, the hospital would have kicked you out long ago. Hearing the young doctor's words, Yao Chi raised his eyebrows. He glanced at Xiao Chen, who was still taking the pulse with his eyes closed, and gave up the idea of helping the mother and son of the Li family. He wanted to see how this somewhat mysterious young man would deal with the situation in front of him. Dr. Chen, is Dr. Hua here? I want to talk to her. Li's mother thought for a while and said softly. Okay, don't count on Hua Xuan to help you. She went on a business trip at noon, and no one can help you this time. Director Chen said that you have 2 hours to pay back the money and be discharged from the hospital, otherwise, I will call the police to arrest you. Li's mother's face changed slightly. Dr. Hua went on a business trip? Have you said enough? If you have, get out of the ward. Suddenly, a cold voice sounded, and Xiao Chen, who had been taking Li's mother's pulse, slowly opened his eyes. The atmosphere in the ward suddenly became quiet, and everyone subconsciously looked at Xiao Chen, including the arrogant young doctor. Auntie, don't worry, leave it to me. Xiao Chen let go of Li's mother's wrist, smiled at her gently, stood up from the bench, turned around and looked at the doctor. This is a place for patients to recuperate, not a place for you to show off. Get out. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, the patients and their families on the 2 beds next to them secretly cheered. They had a good relationship with Li's mother and son, so they naturally sympathized with them. Moreover, this doctor really did too much, which was too chilling. Kid, what did you say? The young doctor finally reacted and flew into a rage. I'm the doctor here. You told me to get out. Who do you think you are? Doctor? Do you think that wearing this white coat means you are a doctor who saves lives and heals the wounded? Xiao Chen sneered, took out his bank card and handed it to Li Hanho. Go pay back all the medical bills you owe, and throw this guy out of here. Episode 33, Group Fraud? Li Hanho was stunned when he saw the bank card Xiao Chen handed over. He did not take it, but looked at his mother on the hospital bed. Mr. Xiao, how can this be? Li's mother shook her head with gratitude on her face. We can't use your money. Hee, Auntie, Dahan and I are colleagues, and more importantly, friends. No, the medical bills owed are not small, almost more than 50,000 yuan, it's too much. Li's mother still insisted. After all, it was their first meeting, how could she take so much money from someone? More importantly, she didn't know Xiao Chen well. She was worried that if she owed him a favor, he would ask her son to do something illegal in the future. Auntie, just rest assured and take care of your health. Leave everything else to me. If you really feel bad, then just think of this money as a loan from me to Dahan. I'll deduct it from his salary, or say that he advanced his salary in advance, how about that? Xiao Chen said sincerely. Mom, Brother Chen is a good man. I'll go and pay back the medical expenses first. Li Hanho also spoke in a muffled voice. Mother Li looked at her son, then at the sincere smile on Xiao Chen's face, hesitated, and finally nodded. Mr. Xiao, thank you very much, just think of it as Dahan's advance salary. Okay. Xiao Chen didn't care. After paying the money, he had no intention of asking for it again. Not for anything else, but for Li Hanho's pure heart and filial piety. Hey, isn't this different from the routine of ordinary charlatans? Don't pretend, do you have money in your card? The young doctor sneered at the side. If you really have money, go and pay the money quickly, and then get discharged. Brother Chen said to let me throw you out. Without waiting for the young doctor to finish, Li Hanho took a step forward, grabbed his collar, and threw him out with force. Grinning. The young doctor rolled on the ground for several rounds, and didn't stop until he hit the wall of the corridor, screaming in pain. Dahan, you did a good job. You can't be polite to such people. Xiao Chen looked at the embarrassed young doctor, grinned, and gave Dahan a thumbs up. Hee, I'll go pay the money. Li Hanho was also very angry just now, and now that he threw this hateful guy out, he felt much better. Ah, someone is hitting someone, go and call the security guard, someone is hitting the doctor. Bastard, you dare to hit me? Try hitting me again. The young doctor finally got up from the ground and yelled at Li Hanho in anger. Bang! Li Hanho nodded, slapped the young doctor on the face, and then showed a simple and honest smile. I tried, what do you want? The people around him were about to faint. Did this kid do it on purpose? Xiao Chen was also happy. This grandson deserved to be slapped. I wonder if Dahan is a real guy. You. The young doctor covered his face that was hit and glared at Li Hanho, but he didn't dare to say try hitting me again. Get out of the way, I have to pay the fee. Li Hanho pushed away the young doctor who was blocking him and was about to go to the cashier. Humph, you beat me up, and you still want to stay in the second hospital? The young doctor gritted his teeth and said, even if you have money, you have to get out. Li Hanho stopped and turned to look at the young doctor when he heard this. He was thinking, is what this guy said true? If it is true, then why pay a penny? Oh, what a big tone. The hospital is owned by your family? Xiao Chen, who had been watching coldly, walked slowly to the door of the ward and said coldly. Yes, the hospital is owned by my family, so what? My father is the director of the oncology department. You beat me up, and you still want to stay for treatment? Don't dream. The young doctor said arrogantly. Xiao Chen came to the young doctor and said in a mocking tone, Director of the oncology department? Oh, you are such a big official? When did the hospital of the common people become a place where your family has the final say? Not to mention that your father is the director, even if he is the dean, he doesn't have this right. Who said I don't have this right? At this moment, the crowd parted and a Mediterranean man walked in. He first glanced at the slap mark on the young doctor's face, and his expression became gloomy again. In this oncology department, I, Chen Dahai, am the king. You beat my son, and you still want to treat him here? Not to mention that he is dead in the late stage of cancer, even if it can be cured, we won't treat him. Dad, you are finally here. I came to urge Li Hanho to pay the fee, and they beat me. The young doctor was shocked when he saw the person coming, and said loudly. Don't worry, Dad will get justice for you. Chen Dahai said in a deep voice. Hee, I thought this kid was quite arrogant just now, but it turns out that I am more arrogant? Xiao Chen smiled coldly. Chen Dahai looked at Xiao Chen, who are you? Dad, he is a charlatan. I saw him taking the pulse of Li Hanho's mother just now. Charlatan? Chen Dahai was stunned, and then sneered, now charlatans dare to come to the hospital to cheat? Boy, do you believe it, I can send you to the Public Security Bureau with just one phone call? Hashtag every time verification appears, please do not use incognito mode. Do you believe it? I can make you famous all over the country with just a flick of my finger? Xiao Chen said, shaking the phone in his hand. I have recorded your arrogant look just now. I will just post it on a forum and you should be able to become a celebrity. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, Chen Dahai's face suddenly changed. He knew very well how powerful the internet is now. Any little thing, as long as it attracts attention on the internet and creates public opinion, it will be extremely terrifying. The people watching the excitement nearby were also a little dumbfounded. Recorded it? This guy doesn't play by the rules. On the other hand, Yao Chi-wang, who had been staying out of the matter, had a flash of appreciation in his eyes. The person in charge uses outsiders to break the situation, which is a talent for generals. He is good at taking advantage of available opportunities, which is a talent for commanders. Just when Chen Dahai was a little bit in a dilemma and didn't know what to do, 7 or 8 security guards with batons rushed in. Director Chen, we are here. Seeing these security guards, Chen Dahai felt relieved. As long as he controlled this guy and deleted the video on his phone, everything would be fine. Thinking of this, he sneered a few times, waved his hand, and said righteously, control these troublemakers and charlatans who disrupted the order of the hospital, and hand them over to the public security organs later, so as not to endanger the lives and property of the masses. Yes. The security guards agreed and surrounded Xiao Chen and Li Hanho, ready to take action. Stop. Seeing that the matter was getting bigger and bigger, Yao Chi-wang finally spoke. Who are you? Chen Dahai looked at Yao Chi-wang and frowned when he saw that he had an extraordinary temperament. Dad, he is in the same group with this charlatan, and he must be an old liar. The young doctor pointed at Yao Chi-wang and said. Chen Dahai was relieved when he heard this. He sneered, so they are a group scammer. Let's control it together. Oh, I always heard about cheating before, but today I finally saw it. Xiao Chen couldn't help laughing. He dared to say that the honorary president of the Chinese Medical Association was an old liar. He was really courting death. Old liar? Sure enough, Yao Chi-wang's face sank. He has been practicing medicine for a lifetime and saved countless people. This is the first time that someone has called him with these 3 words. The next second, Yao Chi-wang took out his mobile phone and dialed a number. Hello, teacher, how come you have time to call me? As soon as the call was dialed, it was answered, and a respectful voice came from it. Teacher? Humph, I'm an old liar now, and I can't be your teacher, Dean Li. Yao Chi-wang said unhappily. Ah. Teacher, what are you talking about? Why can't I understand? I'll give you 1 minute to come to the oncology department of your hospital's inpatient department. If you can't come, I won't have you as my student. Yao Chi Wang said, and hung up the phone. Qin Dahai looked at Yao Chi Wang, and suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. Who did this old guy call? Dean Li? Could it be Li Shang, the dean of the second hospital? Thinking of this, he suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. If he really called Li Shang, then he was doomed. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and catch these charlatans. The young doctor urged the security guards when he saw that they were not doing anything. Let's see who dares. Li Hanho shouted and blocked in front of Xiao Chen and Yao Chi Wang, with a mighty momentum that one man could block 1,000 men, and frightened the security guards to stop. Stop. Qin Dahai stopped the security guard and looked at Yao Chi Wang. His tone was much softer. Old man, who are you? Didn't your son say I was an old liar? Yao Chi Wang said angrily. Well, the child is ignorant, old man, please don't be offended. Qin Dahai smiled. Old man, I don't know who you called just now. Yao Chi Wang was too lazy to pay attention to this guy. He felt that the father and son were not worthy of the white coats they wore, and they were even more unworthy of the 4 words doctors have a benevolent heart. Just when the scene was a little stalemate, a panting voice came from afar. Teacher, am I not late? After the words fell, a middle-aged man who was a little fat squeezed into the crowd. He came in front of Yao Chi Wang, bent slightly, and his face was full of respect. Yao Chi Wang looked at the middle-aged man with sweat on his forehead. A smile flashed across his face, but he deliberately hummed and said, Look at your forehead full of sweat. As a doctor, how can you make your body so weak? Teacher, I'm in the office building. Just give me a minute. I jogged all the way here, but there were too many people in the elevator, so I had to climb up the stairs. The middle-aged man took a deep breath and said a little aggrieved. Okay, I'll take a look at you later and prescribe a prescription to regulate your body. Sitting in the office all day, it's inevitable that various problems will arise. The middle-aged man was overjoyed when he heard this. Thank you, teacher. Hehe, I knew you felt sorry for me. Don't give me that, deal with the things in front of me. I've been called an old liar. Yao Chi Wang said unhappily. What? Who dares to say that my teacher, Li Shang, is a liar? The middle-aged man was furious and looked up and looked around. Episode 34. At least 3 years. Everyone around was dumbfounded when they saw the angry middle-aged man. Except for some patients, the doctors and nurses of the second hospital all knew the man who looked a bit like Eric Sang in front of them, the director of the second hospital, Li Shang. Especially the arrogant Chen family father and son, they were sweating coldly. Damn it, how did they provoke this great god? Why, are you all mute? Who just said that my teacher is an old liar? Li Shang was a little angry. You know, if there was no Yao Chi Wang, he, Li Shang, would not be where he is today. As the saying goes, once a teacher, always a father. In his eyes, Yao Chi Wang's status is no worse than his biological father, and he is even more respected. The doctors, nurses and patients subconsciously cast their eyes on the young doctor. It was him who just called him an old liar. The changes in the eyes of the people around him naturally could not be hidden from Li Shang. He looked at the young doctor coldly. Chinyu, did you say that? Director, I don't know. The young doctor trembled and wanted to explain a few words. You still know that I'm the dean? Let me ask you, he's my teacher, the teacher that I, Li Shang, respect the most. You say he's an old liar, then what am I? Ah. Tell me, what am I? Li Shang asked coldly. Dean, Chenyu is still young, he doesn't know much. Qin Dahai couldn't help but say something when he saw Li Shang getting mad at his son. Shut up, too. Qin Dahai's words seemed to have detonated a bomb. Li Shang turned his head and glared at Qin Dahai. Your son is young and ignorant, and you are also ignorant? Qin Dahai, you usually spoil your son, and it's fine that you are arrogant in the oncology department, but you dare to say that my teacher is an old liar? Li Shang finished speaking and pointed to his nose. Then I am a little liar? I am a little liar, then what are you? Qin Dahai was scolded by Li Shang in front of so many people, and he was a little angry. When he was about to refute, he suddenly thought of something, trembled, and looked at Yao Chi Wang with wide eyes. Li Shang's teacher? It is said that Li Shang's teacher is Yao Chi Wang, one of the 3 famous doctors in traditional Chinese medicine. Could it be that the old man in Tang suit in front of him is the honorary president of the Chinese Medical Association Yao Chi Wang? Are you Yao Lao? Qin Dahai asked with a pale face and a trembling voice. Have you recognized my teacher's identity now? Are you scared? It's too late. Li Shang's words were a disguised confirmation of Yao Lao's identity, which made Qin Dahai's feet go soft and he almost fell to the ground. To be honest, he was not too afraid of Li Shang, because there was someone above him to protect him. Moreover, he also got the news that in just 3 months at most, his position would be able to move again and become one of the vice presidents of the second hospital. However, when he learned that the old man in front of him was Yao Qi, he was really scared. Yao Qi, a famous Chinese medicine master, has many disciples all over the world, and many of his disciples hold high positions in the health system. It is said that even the big guys in the imperial city have a deep friendship with him. Not to mention that he is just a director, even the one above him. Even the mayor of Longhai City has to greet Yao Qi with a smile and be polite when he sees him. After all, people eat grains and cereals, and no one can guarantee that they are not sick. Making friends with a miracle doctor can save more lives at critical moments. Li Shang looked at Qin Dahai and sneered in his heart. Qin Dahai, you think you have to be so timid just because you are close to a big tree, and you don't even take me seriously. Now, you have offended the teacher. Not to mention you, even the big tree behind you will tremble. Who can tell me what happened just now? Li Shang's eyes swept around and finally fell on a deputy director. This is his man. When the deputy director saw Li Shang looking at him, he was moved and hurriedly stood up and told him what happened just now. Dean Li, I have another video here. I think you should be interested in watching it. Xiao Chen, who had been watching the excitement, spoke slowly. Oh. Sir, what video is it? Li Shang was quite polite. He also heard from his subordinates that this young man was with the teacher. He was secretly curious in his heart. Could this be the teacher's new student? If the teacher can take him around, he will definitely shine in the medical field in the future. Li Shang, let me introduce you. This is Xiao Chen. Yao Lao introduced at the right time. Li Shang was even more surprised when he heard the teacher's personal introduction. It seemed that the teacher valued Xiao Chen very much. Could he be the teacher's last disciple? You know, in China, students and disciples are different. The latter has a more important status and is to receive inheritance and mantle. But before Li Shang could show his goodwill, he heard Yao Lao say again, well, Xiao you and I are of the same generation, so I am your uncle. Li Shang was stunned. What? Peers? Uncle? Xiao Chen was also a little speechless. Uncle? What kind of generation is this? Hey, Dean Li, just call me by my name. Li Shang secretly glanced at Yao Qi, and he breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that he didn't object. If he really called a young man Uncle Master in front of so many people, where would his face be? At the same time, he was extremely shocked. What kind of background did this young man have who could make the teacher come to discuss friendship with him? It must be extraordinary. As his thoughts turned, Li Shang showed a friendly smile and stretched out his right hand. Haha, okay, then I will be bold enough to call you by your name. You don't have to call me Dean Li, just call me Old Li. Okay, Brother Li, this is the video, take a look. Xiao Chen shook hands with Li Shang and handed him the phone. Li Shang was even happier when he heard Xiao Chen calling him Brother Li. He took the phone and started to look at it, but soon his face darkened. Nonsense. Is he still a doctor? He is more arrogant than the underworld. This matter must be dealt with seriously. Qin Dahai's face was ashen. He knew that he was finished. Even if he didn't die this time, he would be skinned alive. I now announce that Qin Dahai and Chen Yu are suspended from their duties, and the relevant departments will intervene in the investigation and handling. Li Shang was really angry. He didn't expect that the father and son would be so arrogant. After hearing this, Qin Dahai sat down on the ground. He couldn't stand the investigation at all. Once investigated, he was completely finished. As for Qin Yu, it was even worse. His biggest reliance was his father, and now his father was finished. Okay, everyone disperse. Li Shang was too lazy to look at the Chen father and son. In front of so many patients, he was embarrassed enough. If it got out, wouldn't it be a discredit to the second hospital? Xiao Chen, here, your phone. Li Shang returned the phone to Xiao Chen, smiling. I apologize on behalf of the hospital for what happened today, and delete this video. Yes. Xiao Chen nodded. Now that the Chen family father and son had been dealt with, he was too lazy to post it online, and deleted the video in front of Li Shang. Is this Mr. Li? Li Sheng looked up at Li Hanho and said apologetically, you can rest assured to receive treatment. As for the medical expenses, Dean Li, how much medical expenses should be paid, we will not reduce a penny. In addition, change a single ward for Auntie. The environment here is a bit messy and not suitable for her to recuperate. Xiao Chen said lightly. Li Sheng, please arrange it well. Yao Wang also said. Yes, teacher, I will make proper arrangements. Li Sheng nodded hurriedly. Yao Lao, I was wrong, I really know I was wrong, please give me a chance. Suddenly, Qin Dahai, who was limp on the ground, crawled towards Yao Wang with his hands and feet, begging. Yao Wang looked down at Qin Dahai, without a trace of sympathy in his eyes. You will suffer for your own sins. Qin Dahai trembled and collapsed to the ground again. Take them away and hand them over to the relevant departments. Li Sheng said to the security guards, and then looked at Yao Wang. Teacher, do you have any other instructions? No. Yao Wang shook his head and asked Xiao Chen, Xiao, you just finished taking the pulse. Can you tell me the conclusion now? Hearing this, Li Sheng was shocked. Xiao Chen is also a doctor? He had always thought that Xiao Chen had an extraordinary origin, so the teacher treated him as an equal. Now it seems that this is not the case at all. Li Hanho and Li's mother also looked at Xiao Chen, especially the latter, who was not calm. Before, she thought that this old man in tang suit just had the same surname as Yao Wang, and she didn't dare to believe that this was really Yao Wang. But after what happened just now, it is enough to prove that it is not a coincidence that they have the same surname, and this old man is Yao Wang, one of the 3 famous doctors. Therefore, she was quite shocked. How could her son invite Yao Wang? However, she soon realized that it was not her son who invited Yao Wang, but this young man named Xiao Chen. Let's change the ward first. Because there are 2 patients in this ward, it is not appropriate to say some things in front of them. It's not that Xiao Chen is cruel, but his personal ability is really limited, especially he needs to pay a certain price. To put it in a selfish way, there are so many people with terminal illnesses in the world, what does it have to do with him? Even if he is exhausted, he can't save everyone. Yao Wang's eyelids jumped. Could it be that this kid really has unique insights? He looked at Li Sheng, who nodded in understanding and began to make arrangements. With the presence of Dean Li Sheng, changing wards became much easier. In just 10 minutes, Li's mother was arranged into the ward. Okay, Xiao, now there are no outsiders, talk about it. Yao Wang asked impatiently. Mr. Yao, my diagnosis is not much different from yours. Lung cancer is in the advanced stage, but fortunately there is no metastasis. Judging from the pulse, Auntie has at most 2 months. Xiao Chen thought for a while and said slowly. Yao Wang nodded. This was the same as his diagnosis, and even the time was not different. This proved that Xiao Chen's medical skills should not be inferior to his own. 2 months? Li Hanho's eyes were red. In other words, his mother would leave him in 2 months? Xiao Chen patted Li Hanho on the shoulder and comforted him. Dahan, although I can't cure your mother, I can alleviate your mother's pain and prolong her life. At least 3 years. At least 3 years. When these words came out, everyone was shocked, especially Yao Wang, who jumped up directly from the chair. After 35, if you don't die, he won't be hurt. 1/2, patients with advanced cancer may suffer organ failure at any time, and then die in pain. Even Yao Wang, who is respected as one of the 3 famous doctors in Chinese traditional medicine, has no way to change the fate of the patient and let the patient live longer. The most he can do is to alleviate the patient's pain as much as possible. But now, Xiao Chen made a shocking statement, saying that he can at least extend his life by 3 years. This is really a way to change fate against the will of heaven. Can you really extend your life by 3 years? Yao Wang widened his eyes and asked uncalmly. Qin nodded, well, I can do it, but it's not easy. How do you do it? Yao Wang asked subconsciously, but then smiled awkwardly. Who would tell such a secret? Acupuncture. Acupuncture? Yao Wang was even more surprised. Although he had been immersed in Chinese medicine for his whole life and had studied acupuncture, it was the first time he heard that acupuncture could cure cancer and prolong life. Yes, when I help my aunt with the treatment later, I will need your help, Yao Lao. Yao Wang was excited when he heard this. Can I be there? Well, of course you can. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. He certainly knew why Yao Wang was so excited, because many people in the Chinese medicine community have their own unique medical skills. When treating some diseases, they will dismiss other people, including their own apprentices, to treat the patient alone. It is precisely because of this situation that many ancient Chinese medical skills have been lost due to various accidents and disappeared in the long river of history. Okay, I will cooperate well later. Yao Qi Huang nodded continuously. Beside him, Li Shang also recovered from the shock. He thought differently from Yao Qi Huang. What he thought was that if Xiao Chen could really make a patient with advanced cancer live 3 more years, it would definitely make a sensation around the world. By then, there will probably be a lot of rich people coming to him for treatment. As for the treatment fee, hundreds of millions or even billions, isn't it up to him? Moreover, it's fucking US dollars. Brother Chen, can you really let my mother live 3 more years? Li Hanho was also very excited. He grabbed Xiao Chen's arm and asked loudly. Yes. But can you let go of my arm, it's almost broken. Xiao Chen grimaced in pain. Ah, I'm sorry, Brother Chen, let me rub it for you. No, no need. Xiao Chen shook his head quickly. This kid didn't know how to control his strength. If he didn't break it by rubbing it again, he would have no place to cry. Auntie, eat the medicinal food first to replenish your nutrition. I will help you with the treatment later. Xiao Chen looked at Li's mother, who was also excited, and said with a smile. Yes, mother, eat the delicious food quickly, otherwise it will get cold. Brother Chen bought it for you, it smells so good. Li Hanho hurriedly brought out the medicinal food. Mr. Xiao. Aunt Dahan and I are friends. Don't worry about calling me Mr. Xiao. Just call me by my name. Well, Xiao Chen, the life-saving grace is greater than heaven. We really have nothing to repay. Aunt, don't mention repaying. I am moved by Dahan's filial piety. He hasn't eaten for 2 days to save money. When Li's mother heard this, tears came down all of a sudden. Dahan, you fool, how can you not eat? Mom, don't cry, I'm not hungry, hee. Li Hanho stepped forward, wiped away his mother's tears, and said with a silly smile. How can you not be hungry if you don't eat for 2 days? When you were at home before, you were so hungry that you couldn't eat a meal. Li's mother hugged her son and said distressedly. Mom, don't cry, I'm not hungry now. Brother Chen just gave me food, and I'm so full. Mother Li wiped her tears, looked at Xiao Chen, and said gratefully, Xiao Chen, thank you so much. Dahan is blessed by God for meeting you. Hee, auntie, don't say that. Xiao Chen shook his head, Dahan, hurry up and feed your mother. Oh. More than 20 minutes later, Mother Li finished the medicinal meal, and Li Shang also went to get a set of silver needles for acupuncture according to Xiao Chen's instructions. Li Shang handed the silver needles to Xiao Chen and took the initiative to say, Xiao Chen, I'll be waiting at the door. If you need anything, just call me. Hee, Brother Li, it's not so particular, just stay. Xiao Chen took the silver needles and said with a smile. Can I stay too? Li Shang was a little surprised and a little pleasantly surprised. Well, close the door and start the treatment now. Xiao Chen said, after disinfecting the silver needles, he looked at Li's mother who was half lying on the bed. Dahan, help your mother up and turn her back to me. Li Hanho stepped forward and helped his mother. Brother Chen, where are your clothes? No need to take them off. Oh. Xiao Chen held the needles with both hands, looked at them briefly, and shook them. 2 silver needles were quickly inserted into Li's mother's back. Yao Qi Huang looked at Xiao Chen's actions and his eyelids jumped. As the saying goes, it is difficult to use 2 silver needles with a skillful hand. This method of double needle crossing acupoints has long been lost. Then, something even more astonishing happened. Xiao Chen pinched for silver needles with both hands, and his movements became faster and faster. The needles must fall into the acupoints, without any error, just like flowing clouds in water. Li Hanho and Li Shang were even more dumbfounded. Is this acupuncture? It's amazing. Auntie, bear with it, it will hurt. Suddenly, Xiao Chen reminded him, and he saw him insert a few more shining silver needles into the lungs on Li's mother's back. As the silver needle fell, Li's mother cried out in pain, and her frail body trembled suddenly. Mom, bear with it. Hearing his mother's cry of pain, the man who had fought with 2 black blind beasts in the forest was so distressed that his eyes turned red. Xiao Chen opened his hands, flicked his 10 fingers, and the shining silver needles trembled in an orderly rhythm and his face turned pale. Yao Wang looked at Xiao Chen's movements and the trembling silver needles, his eyes narrowed. Could it be the legendary Tai magic needle? Yao Lao, help me seal the meridians. As the silver needles trembled faster and faster, Xiao Chen's face became paler and sweat appeared on his forehead. Okay. Yao Lao, who was well prepared, also picked up 2 silver needles and made a quick move. However, he did not pierce Li's mother, but Xiao Chen's back. Soon as the 2 silver needles fell, Xiao Chen's condition was obviously much better, his pale face became ruddy, and his 10 fingers, which were originally trembling slightly, became strong again. Time passed by minute, and about 5 minutes later, the silver needles on Li's mother's back stopped trembling. Auntie, bear with it. Xiao Chen reminded again and began to pull the needles down. If you look closely, you will find that the lower end of each silver needle is covered with purple-black lines, just like blood wrapped around it. Dahan, help your mother lie down. Xiao Chen took out all the silver needles, put them on an iron plate, then poured alcohol and lit a fire. Medicine Master, help me start the needles. Yes. Medicine Master took out the 2 silver needles on Xiao Chen's back, and the latter swayed and almost fell to the ground. Brother Chen, what's wrong with you? Li Hanho was quick to support Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen's face turned extremely pale, and there were bursts of stabbing pain in his dantian, as if it was about to explode. Nothing, a little exhausted, just rest for a while. Xiao Chen endured the severe pain, forced a smile, leaned on the chair, and said weakly. Let me help you. Yao Wang held Xiao Chen's wrist and frowned. It's not ordinary exhaustion. You already have an old injury, and now it is involved and triggered. Haha, it's nothing, just rest for a while. Xiao Chen smiled indifferently and slowly exhaled a breath of turbid air. Mother Li looked at Xiao Chen's pale face, and her heart was extremely moved. She asked weakly, Child, are you okay? Auntie, I'm fine, how do you feel? Xiao Chen shook his head. He could see gratitude and care in Mother Li's eyes. I'm much better now. I don't feel any pain anymore. I feel much more relaxed. Well, that's good. Get more rest and you'll get better day by day. Xiao Chen smiled. Although it cost a certain price, he felt it was worth it. Plop. Suddenly, Li Hanho knelt in front of Xiao Chen. Dahan, what are you doing? Xiao Chen was startled and wanted to help him up, but he didn't have any strength in his body. Brother Chen, my mother taught me since I was a child that people should be grateful and repay kindness. You saved my mother, and my life belongs to you. I will be your slave for the rest of my life. Li Hanho looked at Xiao Chen and said seriously. Dahan, get up. I saved your mother, but I didn't expect you to repay me. Child, I can see that you are a good person. The grace of saving a life is greater than heaven, so let Dahan stay with you in the future. Li's mother also spoke slowly. Auntie, it's not that serious. Child, Auntie can see that you are not an ordinary person. Letting Dahan follow you can also ensure your safety. Although he has a simple and honest personality, his skills are pretty good. Mom, I had a fight with Brother Chen and I lost. Li Hanho turned around and said. Li's mother was shocked. Lost? She knew her son's skills well. He was only one step away from becoming a martial arts master, but he lost? Hee, Dahan went to apply for the job, I tested him and beat him. Xiao Chen also said with a smile. Li's mother looked at Xiao Chen deeply and made a decision, Dahan. Mom, what's wrong? Remember, from today on, you stay with Xiao Chen. Although he is better than you, when there is danger, you have to stand in front of him and protect him with your life. You don't die and he won't be hurt, understand? Although Li's mother's voice was not loud, it was very serious. Mom, I remember. Li Hanho nodded heavily. Xiao Chen was stunned. What was he doing? Yao Wang, on the other hand, looked at Li's mother and thought about it. Child, you have fought with Dahan, you should know that he practices Bajiquan and Pai Guachuan. Li's mother looked at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen nodded, not knowing what she meant. Being loyal and brave, using one's body as a shield, selfless, and taking the lead in times of danger, this is the spirit of Bajiquan. It is precisely because of this that Puyi, Chiang Kai-shek, and Mao Zedong all used the descendants of Bajiquan as their bodyguards. Li's mother said seriously. Xiao Chen understood. He looked at Li Hanho, then at Li's mother, and said in a deep voice, Auntie, it's okay to let Dahan stay with me, but he's not a bodyguard, but a brother. Episode 36. A Dog's Assistance. Yao Wang felt Li's mother's pulse again, and to his surprise, the pulse had really changed and was much better than before. With Yao Wang's diagnosis, Li's mother and Li Hanho were even more grateful to Xiao Chen, as this was truly a life-saving grace. Li Sheng's eyes changed when he looked at Xiao Chen. What a contemporary miracle doctor. If he could be kept in the second hospital, it wouldn't take long for the second hospital to become famous in the world medical community. Xiao Chen, no, brother Xiao, can we talk? What to talk about? Xiao Chen was a little surprised. Haha, I guess this guy wants to keep you in the hospital as a doctor. Yao Wang knew his student well, and said with a smile. Ah. Stay in the hospital? Become a doctor? Yes, brother Xiao, as long as you are willing to stay in the second hospital, I will give you the highest salary. How about it? How about the title of director? Brother Li, don't embarrass me, I have no interest in being a doctor. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly and shook his head. Okay, Li Sheng, don't embarrass Xiao Yu. Let's go to your office, I'll check your body, you are so weak. Yao Wang said with a smile. The teacher spoke. Li Sheng couldn't say anything more, he could only say, Brother Xiao, if you want to be a doctor one day, remember to contact me. Yeah, sure. Xiao Chen nodded, but muttered in his heart, compared to saving people, he is better at killing people. After Yao Wang said a few more words to Li's mother, he left the ward with Li Sheng and came to the dean's office. Teacher, who is this Xiao Chen? Li Sheng finally couldn't help asking. I don't know either. What? You don't know either? Li Sheng was stunned. I just met him today. Yao Wang briefly recounted the previous events, leaving Li Sheng dumbfounded. Teacher, what do you think is Xiao Chen's origin? Yao Wang narrowed his eyes and said slowly, this world is not as simple as we think. There are some levels you can't touch yet. He may be a person from another level, or he may be the son of a traditional Chinese medicine family. Of course, these are all my guesses. Another level, what do you mean? Don't ask too much. When you take a few more steps up, you may be able to touch it. Yao Wang shook his head. Also, don't spread what happened today, so as not to cause a stir. Yes. Teacher, can Li Hanho's mother really live another 3 years? Yao Wang glanced at Li Sheng and nodded, from the pulse, yes. It's really a life-threatening method that defies the heavens. I'm also shocked. Okay, let's not talk about him anymore. Give me your hand. Yao Wang didn't say any more. He believed that this student knew what to say and what not to say. Li Sheng nodded and extended his hand. Teacher, how many days will you stay in Longhai this time? 1 more day, what's wrong? Oh, if I had known you were coming to Longhai, I wouldn't have let Xiaoxian go out to attend the seminar. Yao Wang smiled kindly when he heard the word Xiaoxian. Haha, see you next time. I didn't tell her that I came to Longhai. How is she here with you? Very well, this child is kind-hearted, and her medical skills are so superb, she is deeply loved by colleagues and patients. Haha, didn't she cause you any trouble? No, she is now one of the signature dishes of the second hospital. Yao Wang smiled, and then thought of something. No one knows her identity, right? No. That's good, let her practice more here with you. After Yao Wang finished speaking, he let go of Li Sheng's wrist and looked at him with strange eyes. Teacher, what's wrong? Li Sheng shuddered in his heart. I don't have any serious problems, right? Don't scare me. Li Sheng, as a leader, you have to pay attention to your private life and know how to control yourself. I feel a little weak. Li Sheng's face turned green instantly. In the ward, Li's mother fell asleep, and Xiao Chen's condition was much better. Dahan, you stay in the hospital to accompany your mother for the next few days, and don't go to the company for now. Brother Chen, I have to protect you. Li Hanho said with some embarrassment. Xiao Chen rolled his eyes. Do I need your protection? I'll give you a few days off, and you can just show up at the job fair the day after tomorrow. Thank you, Brother Chen. Li Hanho nodded. He was honest, but not stupid. He knew who was really good to him. Thank you, I'll come here often when I'm fine. Okay, I'll leave first. I'll see you off. The two left the ward and closed the door gently. On the bed, Li's mother, who was originally sleeping, slowly opened her eyes. She glanced at the door of the ward, a complex expression flashed in her eyes, and she sighed softly. Was her decision right? Back then. Never mind, let everything take its course. Xiao Chen came to the lobby downstairs, and soon Yao Wang and Li Sheng also came. Brother Xiao, I'll treat you tonight, how about we sit together? Haha, brotherly, I have something to do tonight, let's do it another day. Xiao Chen smiled and declined. Okay, let's do it another day. Li Sheng did not force it and nodded. Brotherly, I'm sorry to trouble you with Li Hanho. Don't worry. Xiao Chen looked at Yao Chi Wang again. Old Yao, shall I take you home? Well, I'll give you a ride, and I can ask you some advice. Yao Chi Wang said with a smile. Haha, Mr. Yao, you're embarrassing me. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. A few minutes later, the two drove the Hummer out of the second hospital and headed for the medicinal diet shop. On the way, Yao Chi Wang asked some medical questions, many of which were troubling him, and Xiao Chen also gave his own opinions, which made the old man's eyes shine. Yes, it's true that listening to your words is better than reading medical books for 10 years. Yao Chi Wang nodded continuously. Xiao Chen smiled secretly in his heart. Some of the opinions were not his own, but the old fortune teller said, but this did not prevent him from showing off. Half an hour later, the Hummer stopped at the door of the medicinal diet shop. Xiao, don't you want to go down and sit? Let's continue to discuss. Yao Chi Wang asked with some lingering feelings. No, I have something else to do, let's do it another day. Chen was helpless. Look at his spirit of seeking knowledge. No wonder he can be a famous doctor. He can't help but admit it. Well, let's keep in touch. Okay, Mr. Yao, please take your time. Haha, okay. Yao Chi Wang opened the car door and was about to get off the car. Suddenly he thought of something and said slowly, Xiao, Li Hanho's mother doesn't look like an ordinary peasant woman. Huh? Xiao Chen was stunned. Haha, let's go, keep in touch. Yao Chi Wang didn't say anything more, waved his hand, got off the car and entered the herbal medicine shop. Xiao Chen looked at Yao Chi Wang's back, thinking. When he returned to the company, it was almost 5 o'clock. He didn't dare to waste time and gave the key to Qin Lan as soon as possible. Of course, inevitably, he was teased by Qin Lan again, which made him angry. Damn it, he used to tease women, but when was he teased by a woman like this? Sister is going to get off work, remember to come to my office to help tomorrow. Qin Lan played with the car keys, looked at Xiao Chen who was frustrated, and smiled coquettishly. Sister Lan, do you need someone to help you tonight? Xiao Chen smiled evilly, if you need, I am willing to do my best. Really? Then are you a dog or a horse? Qin Lan stood up and came to Xiao Chen, breathing like orchid. Are you scolding me? Xiao Chen looked at Qin Lan's face close at hand and raised his eyebrows. No, I'm just curious about the size. Dogs and horses are different, what do you think? Qin Lan glanced at a certain part of Xiao Chen, and her tone was a little playful. Xiao Chen was stunned, and then he understood, damn, this girl is too dirty, but brother likes it. Hey, Sister Lan, do you think I'm a dog or a horse? I haven't used it, how do I know? Then Sister Lan, aren't you interested in using it? Xiao Chen said, holding Qin Lan's waist, and his lustful eyes fell on her towering chest. Pa. Qin Lan slapped Xiao Chen's buttocks and said playfully, Sister is not interested today, wait until I am interested another day, and then turn over your sign. After that, she swayed her waist and walked towards the door. Xiao Chen was stunned. What the hell, what does this girl think of him? Oh, by the way, help me close the door. Qin Lan flirted, blew a kiss, and turned away. Da-da-da, the sound of high heels gradually faded away, and Xiao Chen came to his senses. He looked down and said, Brother, I'm sorry for you. A ring rang, and Xiao Chen answered the phone. Hello, Ding Li. Brother Chen, I've bought everything I need. I've arranged to come and install it tomorrow night. Okay, you follow up on this. Yes, Brother Chen. That's it for now. We'll talk tomorrow if there's anything. Xiao Chen hung up the phone, glanced at his watch, went to the next office, and knocked on the door. Come in. Xiao Chen pushed the door open and saw Su Qing buried her head in writing something. Boss Su, it's time to get off work. Okay. Su Qing smiled and nodded when she saw it was Xiao Chen. After a simple tidying up, the two left the office and drove away from the company. How's the security recruitment going? Is the HR department cooperating? Su Qing asked in the car. Very good. I will definitely make the security department look brand new. Yeah. Su Qing nodded and thought of something. The Flying Eagle gang didn't come to cause trouble, did they? Not yet, I'm waiting for them too. Speaking of this, Xiao Chen was also a little surprised. Isn't the efficiency of this revenge too slow? Are the Flying Eagle Gang so cowardly? Even if the Flying Eagle Gang is scared, Lu De Kue should have made some moves, right? Don't be careless, the Flying Eagle Gang is not an ordinary black society. Yeah, I know. Su Qing said nothing more and turned on the car 3, only to hear a shrill siren coming from inside. Now an urgent local news report: a bank robbery occurred on East Sanjia Road, and the police are chasing the armed robbers. I hope that the general public will bypass the East 3rd District and pay attention to their own safety. Robbery? Su Qing was a little dazed after listening to this report. Isn't this a plot that only exists on TV? Oh, are you crazy because of poverty? Xiao Chen curled his lips. In his opinion, robbing a bank is one of the most risky crimes, and only fools would rob a bank. Episode 37, Pure Relationship, arrived at number 1 middle school, picked up Su Xiaoming, and drove towards Tulip Villa. Sister, have you heard? Something happened over at East Sanjia Road. Some gangsters robbed the bank. It's so fucking awesome. Su Xiaoming chirped as soon as she got in the car. What did you say? Su Qing frowned when she heard her sister swear. Nothing. Su Xiaoming stuck out her tongue, looking a little playful and cute. Don't swear, do you hear me? A girl, swearing all the time, how uncultured. Who did you learn this from? This. I learned this from Xiao Chen. Su Xiaoming rolled her eyes and pointed at Xiao Chen and shouted. What? Xiao Chen, who was listening to the two sisters talking, almost stepped on the accelerator and hit the rear of the car in front of him when he heard this. Hey, Xiao Meng, I didn't teach you to swear. How could a handsome young man like me with good qualities and temperament use bad words all the time? Xiao Chen looked back and couldn't help but defend himself, otherwise, the baby would feel wronged. Bah. You are the only handsome young man with good qualities and temperament? You are clearly a piece of old bacon exposed to the wind and sun. Su Xiaoming rolled her eyes and said contemptuously. Old bacon is fine, it's more chewy. Xiao Chen grinned, not minding Su Xiaoming's blow at all. Su Qing looked at the two people bickering and smiled. It seemed that the younger sister had gradually accepted Xiao Chen's existence, otherwise, she would not have bickered with him. Back at the villa, Su Xiaoming went upstairs to study, and Su Qing also changed into home clothes and started to prepare dinner. Xiao Chen, on the other hand, became idle. He stayed in the room for a while and then ran to the living room to watch TV. About half an hour later, Su Qing prepared dinner and Su Xiaoming also went downstairs. Xiao Chen, come and eat. Su Qing put the dishes and chopsticks in place and shouted to Xiao Chen. Huh, the meal is ready, and you still have to call me? Do you need my sister to feed you again? Su Xiaoming said unhappily. Haha, sure, as long as your sister is willing, I have no objection. You. Okay, stop bickering, you two, you've been bickering all the way, hurry up and eat. Su Qing smiled helplessly and served the two of them food. I'm too lazy to bicker with him. Those who know him think he's our bodyguard, and those who don't know him think he's our master. Okay, Miss Su is teaching me that from tomorrow on, I'll take care of breakfast, okay? How could Xiao Chen not see through Su Xiaoming's little thoughts, and took the initiative to say it? That's what you said. No one forced you. Sure enough, Su Xiaoming's eyes flashed with joy, but she pretended to be serious. Xiao Chen, don't listen to Xiao Meng's nonsense. I'll make breakfast. Su Qing glared at her little sister and said to Xiao Chen. Haha, that's it. I can't sleep in the morning anyway. Also, you look very tired recently, so take a rest in the morning. Xiao Chen said with a smile. Su Qing felt warm in her heart, nodded, and said nothing more. The three of them finished their dinner with laughter, and Xiao Chen's heart was rarely calm. Is this the feeling of home? After dinner, the three of them cleaned up the table together, and then sat on the sofa to watch TV. Dear citizens, the XX Bank on East Sanjia Road was robbed this afternoon. There were a total of 7 robbers. 3 were shot dead by the police, and another 4 fled. In the past few days, the general public should try to reduce going out and pay more attention to personal safety. On the Longhai Evening News, the beautiful female host reported seriously, and several surveillance screenshots appeared, with the profile and back of the armed robbers. They haven't been caught yet. These policemen are so useless. Su Xiaoming looked at the gangsters on TV and said with a pout. Xiaoming, you should pay more attention to safety these days. After school, you are not allowed to go anywhere. Wait for us to pick you up. Do you hear me? Su Qing was a little worried. 4 armed gangsters were too dangerous. Sister, Longhai is so big, how can I meet them? Listen to me. Okay, I will come back with you after school. Su Xiaomeng was helpless. When will this good baby stop? These gangsters are not simple. Xiao Chen looked at the TV and said slowly. Oh. Why do you say that? Su Xiaomeng asked curiously. There is another important reason that Xiao Chen did not say, that is, he can feel the murderous aura from the gangsters. These guys must have been on the battlefield and their hands are stained with blood. They are probably retired Special Forces soldiers. Wow, it sounds like it's awesome. Will there be a street gunfight like in Hollywood blockbusters? Su Xiaomeng asked excitedly. It's possible. If they want to kill these gangsters, Longhai police will definitely have to pay a heavy price. Xiao Chen's eyes flashed with doubt as he spoke. Why did they rob a bank? If it's for money, many crimes can make more money and have less risk than robbing a bank, such as kidnapping rich people. At first, he thought they were a few poor country bumpkins who were robbing a bank with a few homemade guns. Now it seems that this is obviously not the case. Brother Chen, you, the king of special forces, don't you feel excited and full of justice when you see this scene? Don't you plan to take action and kill these gangsters and be a hero? Su Xiaomeng urged. Xiao Qing glanced at Su Xiaomeng and replied, Am I bored? Also, I'm not a special forces king, I'm just a pig farmer. What? Pig farmer? Xiaomeng's eyes widened. Yeah, I tell you, I'm an expert in pig farming in our company. Su Qing slapped her forehead helplessly, this guy is here again. I'm going upstairs to take a shower, you guys chat. Oh. Su Xiaomeng nodded, then looked at Xiao Chen, are you bragging? How can a pig jump more than 2 meters high? No, it's true, it's a spirit. No, aren't you and my elder? Su Yunfei a comrade in arms? He's also a pig farmer? Su Xiaomeng thought of something and widened her eyes. If her elder brother really raised pigs in the army, she couldn't accept it. Of course not, your elder brother is a super soldier king, how can I compare with your elder brother, I am not even worthy of being his follower. Xiao Chen was praising Su Yunfei, while secretly muttering, Old Su, I ruined my own image in order to improve your tall image in your sister's heart. Su Xiaomeng's mouth curled up unconsciously, you are a little self-aware. Hehe, Xiaomeng, your elder brother is a great hero, let me tell you his story. Xiao Chen struck while the iron was hot, ready to ease the relationship between the brother and sister. Okay. No, who wants to listen to his story, he is him, I am me. Su Xiaomeng's pretty face sank. Xiao Chen had no choice but to nod and change the subject. Xiaomeng, is that he still pestering you? If he pesters you again, I will help you solve it. How do you solve it? Su Xiaomeng asked curiously. How about I help you break one of his legs? Xiao Chen said fiercely. Okay, then go and break his legs. Xiao Chen was dumbfounded. Damn, are all the girls nowadays so cruel? Why don't they play by the rules? Shouldn't she say, no, it's too cruel? When are you going to break his legs? Tell me a time, I'll help you plan it. Well, Xiaomeng, didn't the teacher teach you that classmates should get along with each other in a friendly manner and love each other? Tisk, if you don't have the courage to go, then don't have the courage to go. I don't want to bother with you. Su Xiaomeng said contemptuously and went upstairs. Xiao Chen looked at Su Xiaomeng's back and smacked his lips. Kids nowadays are really hard to understand. After watching TV for a while, Xiao Chen went back to his room, washed up, and lay on the bed, thinking about it. He thought of everything that happened in Naga again, and his eyes fell on the bone ring on his left hand. What kind of secrets did this ring hide? The next morning, Xiao Chen made breakfast. When the Su sisters went downstairs, the fragrant breakfast was already on the table. The golden fried eggs made people's mouths water. Su Xiaomeng swallowed the fried eggs in a few bites and praised Xiao Chen, which made the latter feel flattered. Then he secretly cursed himself for being useless and how could he be so cheap. After dinner, one went to school and the other went to work, and another busy day began. Xiao Chen first strolled around the company, then went to the monitoring room to watch the surveillance video, and finally held a morning meeting in the security department. After confirming that there was nothing unusual, he rushed to Qin Lan's office. This was what he promised Qin Lan yesterday. He felt that if he didn't go to work again, Qianlong would castrate him. Besides, although it was a bit hard and tiring to work, it was much more interesting to be in the same room with Qianlong, this top-notch woman, and occasionally take advantage of her verbally and look at her big white legs, etc., than playing games. To use a popular saying on the internet, just these 2 legs are enough for him to play with for a month. At noon, Ding Li called Xiao Chen and asked him to go to the cafeteria for lunch, but he refused. What a joke. With Qianlong, a super beauty, accompanying her, who the hell would go to lunch with a man? When Xiao Chen appeared in the company cafeteria with Qianlong, he instantly attracted a lot of attention. Men were jealous and women were curious. Who is this guy? Then, things about Xiao Chen gradually spread in the company, including his beating up Ren Kuan, abusing Lu Dekue, taking over, fighting against the Flying Eagle gang, etc., all of which were exposed. These things made many people gasp. This guy is not easy to mess with. Some girls, when they looked at Xiao Chen again, their eyes were full of stars. It was so awesome. This is a strong man. Of course, there were also some rumors that he was able to get promoted quickly because he was with Qianlong, etc. Xiao Chen smiled at these rumors. They were just a bunch of idiots who couldn't eat grapes and said that grapes were sour. If they were asked to get together, I guess they would be very happy. Besides, he and Qianlong are pure. Well, at least for now, they are still pure. Episode 38, Interviewer. In a blink of an eye, the job fair is about to begin. This morning, Xiao Chen dressed up for the first time, making himself more energetic and neater. So damn handsome. Xiao Chen looked at himself in the mirror and couldn't help but praise, if I were a woman, I would definitely like you. After dinner, he came to the company and started to get busy. Although he prefers to be a hands-off boss, as the director of the security department, he has to worry about this matter. Director Xiao, the applicants have arrived one after another, and it will officially start at 10 o'clock. Tong Yan came. She was also dressed very formally today, a standard OL outfit. Well, how many people came to apply? Xiao Chen asked with a smile as he glanced at Tong Yan's white shirt that was propped up. There are already more than 60 people who went to the front desk to register, and there are still people coming. So many? Xiao Chen was a little surprised. Isn't it just recruiting a security guard? In his impression, security guards belong to the lowest level of the company, and there should not be many people who want to be security guards. Moreover, the level of the domestic security industry is uneven. Except for professional security companies that have professional security output, most security guards are amateurs or even old, weak, sick, and disabled. Think about the security guards in some communities, usually they are old men. Once various accidents happen, it is better to expect these old men to protect the safety of the community than to expect Ultraman to fall from the sky. Yes. Then there are no old, weak, sick, or disabled applicants. No, there are already preliminary requirements in the recruitment copy, but... Tong Yan hesitated when she said this. But what? Xiao Chen asked when he saw Tong Yan like this. But, some are here to join in the fun. Join in the fun? What do you mean? Xiao Chen asked curiously. Many people who come to apply have ulterior motives. They are coming for our female colleagues in the company. Female colleagues? Xiao Chen was even more puzzled. Yes, it's well known that there are many beauties in our Qingcheng company, so... After Tong Yan said this, Xiao Chen understood that it seemed that those rich young men all wanted to come in and pick up girls. However, thinking about the quality of the company's beauties, he smiled. There is nothing wrong with a beautiful lady being sought after by a gentleman. However, it is their fault to come and cause trouble for Minister Xiao just to pick up girls. Leave this matter to me. Since they are here, they can't come in vain. I have to teach them a lesson. Xiao Chen grinned, called a few security guards, and muttered a few words. Yes, Minister Xiao. Several security guards nodded hurriedly and ran out happily. Tong Yan, let's go out and take a look together. Okay, Minister Xiao. Xiao Chen took Tong Yan out of the security department and came to the lobby downstairs, where he saw the applicants talking in twos and threes. He looked over and found quite a few rich young men who were very cute. They were all very tender and were laughing and talking loudly. They were also commenting on the beautiful OL girls passing by. Xiao Chen saw this scene and sneered in his heart. Laugh, you will cry later. Hi, beautiful girl, can I meet you? My name is Chio Das. Suddenly, a young man with oily hair and powdered face ran to Tong Yan, his eyes flashing, as if he had discovered a new continent. Hello. Although he didn't want to pay attention to this guy, Tong Yen smiled and nodded out of politeness. Beauty, which department are you from? I'm about to join the security department, and then we will be colleagues. Let's have lunch together at noon. Come on, let's shake hands first. The young man saw Tong Yen smiling at him and felt that there was a chance. He secretly thought that he was really lucky. He met such a superb Tong Yen with big breasts when he just arrived. Just when Tong Yen was hesitating whether to shake hands with this guy, Xiao Chen spoke. Haha, hello, I hope we can become colleagues. As for eating, let's forget it. Xiao Chen smiled and held Xiao Desai's hand, and even used a little force. Ouch, let go. Xiao Desai screamed in pain and tried to shake off Xiao Chen's hand, but found that this hand was like a pair of pliers. Xiao Chen smiled and let go of Xiao Desai, sneering in his heart, damn it, you are so bold to pick up girls in front of me? Xiao Desai's scream of pain also attracted the attention of many people, and they all looked over. There were also several young people who had a good relationship with Xiao Desai, all surrounded and stared at Xiao Chen with fierce eyes. Haha, are you all here to apply for security guards? Let me introduce myself. I am the director of the security department of Qingcheng Company and the interviewer for this recruitment, Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen looked at the young people and said with a smile. Hearing Xiao Chen's words, the young people were all stunned. Director? Interviewer? Even Xiao Desai rubbed his aching hand and swallowed the dirty words that were on the tip of his tongue. If it were normal times, they might not take a mere security chief seriously, but today they couldn't. Didn't they hear him say that he was an interviewer? Moreover, even if you join the company just to pick up girls, you have to stay under him for a few days. It turns out to be Minister Xiao, hello. Chiodas changed his face, forced a smile, and then lowered his voice, Minister Xiao, we are all here to apply for the job, and I hope we can all pass it later. Tonight, we will ask Minister Xiao to do a one-stop service, how about it? Yes, Minister Xiao, the brothers are all relying on you. Another young man, with a lustful look, glanced at Tong Yen, and then said with a smile. Xiao Chen looked at these guys and grinned, haha, no problem, I believe in your abilities. When the young men heard this, they felt relieved. Since the interviewer said so, they would definitely be able to join the company. Minister Xiao, that's very nice. We won't bother you anymore. Let's meet in the evening. After the young men left, Tong Yen glared at Xiao Chen, Minister Xiao, how could you do this? What's wrong? Boss Su gave you the recruitment task because he trusts you. How could you give them a backdoor? Their motives are not pure, and they can't be security guards at all. Tong Yen said angrily. Xiao Chen was stunned, then he laughed. This girl has a strong sense of justice. Haha, don't worry, I'm just teasing them. If you want to join the security department, you must have some real stuff. Really? Of course, I never lie to women, especially beautiful women like you. Let's go, it's almost time, let's get ready. Xiao Chen looked at his watch, glanced at the hall, and a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. If you treat my job fair as your pickup party, let me see how I will deal with you. As time passed, it was 10 o'clock. Dingli, go, let everyone in. Xiao Chen said lightly while sitting in the interviewer's seat. Yes. Dingli nodded, and soon dozens of applicants followed him in. The applicants all had curious expressions on their faces. Shouldn't it be a separate interview? Why are they all here now? Chiodas and others smiled at Xiao Chen. In their opinion, entering the company was a done deal. Minister Xiao, there are a total of 83 applicants. Dingli reported. Xiao Chen nodded, slowly stood up, and looked around the room. Qingcheng Company, this time we are going to recruit a total of 20 security guards, which means that only 1/4 of you can stay. Some requirements are clearly stated in the recruitment copy. Do you all think you meet the requirements? Yes. The applicants replied in unison, but their eyes were obviously glancing at the childish face beside Xiao Chen, or more precisely, at her chest. Haha, okay. Xiao Chen smiled. What are security guards used for? Come on, who can tell me? Protect the company's property and the personal safety of employees. A young man in the front row said loudly. Xiao Chen nodded. That's right, so the first factor is that you must have a strong physique. Calling you in together is also a preliminary selection. Those who don't have a strong physique will be eliminated. The applicants looked at each other. What does this mean? Pa. Xiao Chen clapped his hands, and the door of the conference room opened. Several security guards came in carrying barbells and other fitness equipment and placed them in the middle. 50 dumbbell squats, 50 barbell bench presses, those who pass will enter the next round of interviews, starting with you. Xiao Chen was too lazy to talk nonsense, pointing to Qiu Desai who was standing at the left end of the front row. Qiu Desai was stunned. He looked at the dumbbells, then at the barbells, and took a breath of cold air. Not to mention 50, he couldn't even do 5. Minister Xiao, you. Why, you want to be a security guard, but you don't even have this little physique? Xiao Chen looked at Qiu Desai with a playful look. These rich young men's bodies have long been hollowed out by alcohol and sex. Not to mention barbell bench presses, they probably can't even do 5 push-ups. Minister Xiao, what did we agree on just now? What did we agree on? Haha, if you can't do it, just quit. Qiu Desai was angry. Who said I can't do it? As he said, he stepped forward, bent down, grabbed the dumbbells, and started squatting. In the end, he didn't even make it through 10 reps, his feet went soft, his body swayed, and the dumbbell hit his instep. He jumped up in pain and howled. Eliminated. Xiao Chen's cold voice rang out. Boy, you. Qiu Das covered his foot and was furious, wanting to explode. Next. Xiao Chen didn't even look at him, his eyes fell on the next rich young man. The rich young man looked at Qiu Das's fate, his mouth twitched a few times, and he said that he would withdraw voluntarily. Then, several more young men withdrew, and then the rail applicants started doing squats and bench presses. What satisfied Xiao Chen was that there were still people with strength. With further training, they would definitely become steel knives, at least in long high, they would be invincible. 2 hours later, more than 80 people, about half of whom passed the preliminary selection, entered the next round of interviews. Among the eliminated people, there were a small number of young men like Qiu Das. Old Qiu, is your foot okay? A young man asked in the corner. Damn, it still hurts. Qiu Desai gritted his teeth and glared at Xiao Chen. This kid is playing tricks on us, we can't let this guy go. Well, when have we ever suffered such a loss? Don't be careless, there are so many security guards here, let's watch from the side first and find a chance to do it. If it doesn't work, just wait for this grandson to get off work. Several rich young men nodded. This bad breath must be vented. Sorry, the eliminated people can leave, we. Before Xiao Chen finished speaking, there was a bang, and the door of the conference room was pushed open. Ren Kuan walked in with a crazy face, followed by Lu Dague and 2 masters. Episode 39, The Battle in the Conference Room. The 4 men who came with such a fierce momentum and the loud noise attracted the attention of everyone in the conference room. The newcomers have bad intentions. This was the first thought that came to everyone's mind, especially the people in the security department. They were shocked and thought that Lu Dekue had come to take revenge. Isn't that Ren Kuan? Rich young men also knew Ren Kuan and wondered what he was doing here. Was he here to apply for a job? No, looking at this posture, it seems more like he is here to cause trouble. Xiao Chen, roll over here, I'm here to cause trouble for you. Ren Kuan pointed at Xiao Chen who was sitting in the middle and spoke very directly, getting straight to the point. As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. He really came to cause trouble. Qiu Das and others became excited. Does Ren Kuan have a grudge against this guy? Then they just need to watch the fun first, and find an opportunity later to beat the fallen dog. Xiao Chen looked at Ren Kuan and Lu Dekue, wondering how these 2 guys got together. Shouldn't Lu Dekue be with the Flying Eagle gang? However, no matter how strange it was, he was not afraid at all. They were just 2 clowns. What kind of waves could they stir up? The only thing that caught his attention was the 2 middle-aged men behind Ren Kuan. Intuitively, they were 2 masters, and they should have entered the ranks of top masters. Haha, looking for trouble? Your face, doesn't it hurt? Xiao Chen stood up slowly with a faint smile on his face. When Ren Kuan heard this, he thought of the hot slap that day, and his face sank. Boy, you are looking for death. Wait, I will make you kneel in front of me and beg for mercy. That's right. Lu Dekue stepped forward and looked at Xiao Chen with a sinister look. Xiao Chen, you are dead today. Be sensible and kneel down to apologize to Master Ren, otherwise. Lu Dekue, when did you become Ren Kuan's lackey? Xiao Chen said mockingly without waiting for Lu Dekue to finish. Xiao Chen, stop talking nonsense. Master Ren and I just share the same hatred for the enemy. I know you are a first-class master, but so what? Today, even if you are a first-class master, you have to kneel down and beg for mercy. Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows and pointed at the two middle-aged men behind Ren Kuan. Just relying on them? Yes, just relying on them. Ren Kuan nodded and said arrogantly, two first-class masters abused you alone. Do you think you can still be arrogant today? As Ren Kuan's voice fell, the two middle-aged men's momentum was released, and many people at the scene changed their faces slightly. This was an invisible sense of oppression. Xiao Chen's expression turned cold. Did he really think that he could show off his power here by bringing two first-class masters here? Xiao Chen, I'll give you another chance. Kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times, and I will spare you. Otherwise, I will break your legs first, and then let you kneel in front of me. Ren Kuan enjoyed the feeling of stepping on people in front of others. He muttered in his heart that Lu Dagui really chose the right day. And me, kneel before me, kowtow and admit your mistakes, and then get out of Ching Cheng company. Lu Dagui also interjected in a domineering manner, feeling quite proud. Originally, he had a good idea to use the Flying Eagle Gang to eliminate Xiao Chen, but what he didn't expect was that the Flying Eagle Gang had an internal conflict and could not be relied on for the time being. When he heard that the company was going to recruit security guards today, he could no longer sit still, ran to find Ren Kuan, discussed it, and decided to severely abuse Xiao Chen in front of everyone, and then let him get out of the company with his tail between his legs. So, they came today, showing off their power. Haha, let me kneel down. Break my legs? Xiao Chen smiled, but his eyes became cold. I haven't heard this for a long, long time. Mr. Ren, count me in to deal with this kid. Suddenly, Qiu Das also shouted. He limped out of the corner with a ferocious look on his face. Ren Kuan turned his head and saw Qiu Desai. He was stunned. Mr. Qiu, why are you here? I'm here to pick up girls. Let's not talk about this for now. After I deal with this guy, I have to let my brothers step on him. Why, do you also have a grudge against Xiao Chen? Not only Mr. Qiu has a grudge against him, we all have a grudge against him. Several rich young men came over. Xiao Chen didn't let them enter the company to pick up girls, and they all held a grudge in their hearts. Xiao Chen, how many people have you offended? Ren Kuan looked at these young men, a little surprised and a little mocking. Lu Dagui was also very happy in his heart. This kid has only been in Longhai for a few days, and he has offended so many people at once. Even if he doesn't die today, he will lose a layer of skin. Okay, stop talking nonsense. After dealing with you, the interview must continue. Xiao Chen walked out slowly from behind the table, looking at Ren Kuan and his group, with a calm tone. It seems that you won't cry until you see the coffin? Well, today I'll let you know that my last name is Ren, so I can be willful. Ren Kuan pointed at Xiao Chen and shouted loudly. Others may not understand his words, but Xiao Chen knew that when he slapped Ren Kuan that day, he said this sentence, don't think that you can be willful just because your last name is Ren. It seems that this guy also holds a grudge and remembers this sentence deeply. Brother Jun, Brother Bao, you guys beat him up. Ren Kuan pointed at Xiao Chen and said to the two middle-aged men. Such a little guy, I beat him up by myself. The middle-aged man called Brother Bao looked at Xiao Chen and said with some contempt. Haha, come on, I need to be beaten up recently. Xiao Chen smiled lightly, but the cold light in his eyes became stronger and stronger. In the past few days since he came to Longhai, he has not figured out the threatening letter and the bug. Although he doesn't show anything on the surface, he has a lot of evil fire in his heart. Now, he plans to vent. Although it's not as refreshing as venting it on a woman, it's barely acceptable. Brother Chen, who's going to punish you? Suddenly, another honest voice sounded from the door of the conference room, followed by dull footsteps, and a huge black shadow walked in. When Xiao Chen heard this voice, he smiled from the bottom of his heart. Everyone in the conference room also looked up at the newcomer. What does this guy look like? He is too damn strong, isn't he? You want to deal with my brother Chen? Li Han-ho took big steps, ignoring the strange looks around him, and came to Brother Bao. He looked down at him for a few times and asked in a muffled voice. Brother Bao is about 1.8 meters tall, but he is a head shorter than Li Han-ho. He raised his head and a cold look flashed across his face. Who are you? Get out of here. You want to deal with my brother Chen and make me get out of here. You must not be a good person. Take my punch first. Li Han-ho muttered, raised his huge fist and smashed towards Brother Bao. Looking for death. Brother Bao's expression became even colder, and he also threw a punch quickly. Bang! The two fists collided, and a look of pain flashed across Brother Bao's face. His body was out of control and he staggered back. This scene made many people change their faces. Even laymen could tell who was stronger and who was weaker. Especially Lu Dagui, who widened his eyes. Who is this big guy? Why is he so strong? My mother said that if I don't die, Brother Chen won't be hurt. If you want to deal with Brother Chen, I'll deal with you first. Li Hanho's fighting spirit rose, and his muscles were tensed, as if pieces of steel were attached to his body. Then he waved his fist and rushed towards Brother Bao. Abeo, be careful. The other middle-aged man's face changed. This big guy was also a master, and his fighting power was not inferior to theirs. Kill! Brother Bao shouted, dodged Li Hanho's fist sideways, and launched a fierce counterattack. However, his counterattack seemed a little weak under Li Hanho's swift and domineering attack. Looking at the two people in the battle, Xiao Chen did not take action again. He believed in Li Hanho's fighting power, even if the opponent was a first-class master. The people around, including those who came to apply for security guards, all widened their eyes at this time. These scenes were more exciting than movies. Also, is this Nima a human? A whole violent brown bear. Mountain cannon. Li Hanho shouted, and a fierce fist hit Brother Bao. Bang bang bang. Brother Leopard took 3 steps back, his face extremely pale, his throat slid up and down, and blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. With your 3-legged cat level, you still want to deal with Brother Chen? Li Hanho was a little contemptuous, and clenched his fists, take 3 more punches from me. Bao, I'll help you. Seeing that his companion was about to suffer, another middle-aged man rushed to Li Hanho and punched him in the back. Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows and was about to help, but before he could do anything, a deafening roar sounded. Come on, fight! Li Hanho kicked Brother Leopard, and then supported himself on one foot. His huge body suddenly rotated, his arms opened, his fists clenched, and he blasted at the middle-aged man who attacked him like a windmill. Bang! The middle-aged man took a few steps back, his arms numb, and he was extremely shocked. How strong is this guy? Dajuan, you go in front and I go in the back. Brother Bao's face was also ugly. They were originally here to show off their power, but now, they haven't dealt with Xiao Chen yet, but they were almost dealt with by a big fool. Okay. The middle-aged man nodded and attacked from the front again, and Brother Bao also moved at the same time. Bang, bang, bang. Under the siege of the two, Li Hanho was not at all inferior. Bajiquan was full of vigor, and occasionally Pai Guochuan made long attacks and long hits. Bajiquan, Pai Guochuan. Lu Dagui's eyes shrank, thinking of the sentence Baji plus Pai Gua, gods and ghosts are afraid, and he couldn't stay any longer. If the big fool won, how could he take revenge? Thinking of this, he didn't think much about it, and shouted, I will help you too. As he said, he rushed towards Li Hanho. Looking for death. Xiao Chen's eyes suddenly turned cold, his figure shook, and he came to Lu Dagui in a blink of an eye. Bang! The next second, Xiao Chen kicked him in the lower abdomen, and the latter screamed and flew back. Dahan, leave it to me. Xiao Chen could see that although Li Hanho was not at a disadvantage, it was impossible for him to win against the two of them, so there was no need to waste any more time, so let's end the fight. Okay. Li Hanho nodded, punched out with 2 punches, and his huge body exploded and withdrew from the battle circle. If you want to deal with me, it depends on whether you have the strength to do so. As soon as Xiao Chen finished speaking, his powerful aura was released, sweeping the entire audience. Brother Bao and the other two felt his aura, their faces changed drastically, and they blurted out martial arts. Master? Episode 40, Courting Death. The powerful momentum swept the whole place, causing pressure on many people. Especially Lu Dagui, who flew back and fell to the ground. His face was pale. He spat out blood and stared at Xiao Chen's back in shock. Is he a martial arts master? In the secular world, martial arts or combat power are vaguely divided into second-rate, third-rate, second-rate, first-rate and martial arts masters. A martial arts master is someone who has reached the master level and can completely establish a school and teach disciples. Of course, this is just a vague division, and there is no obvious boundary, but the terrifying aura and strong murderous aura emitted by Xiao Chen made people tremble from the bottom of their hearts. However, as the saying goes, those who are ignorant are fearless. When Ren Kuan saw Xiao Chen take action, he immediately became excited. He shouted loudly, "Brother Jun, Brother Bao, hurry up, break this guy's legs for me, make him kneel in front of me." Bang! Before Ren Kuan finished his roar, Brother Bao flew out and hit the table next to him heavily, spurting out a mouthful of blood. Shocking. Ah! Tong Yen screamed, her pretty face turned pale. He wouldn't kill anyone, would he? Gah! Ren Kuan's roar stopped abruptly. How could this be possible? Brother Bao is a first-class master. Before he could recover, Xiao Chen approached another middle-aged man and slapped him with his palm, and the latter staggered back. "I admit defeat." The middle-aged man shouted loudly. He knew that he was no match for the young man in front of him, and the difference in combat power was too great. "Admit defeat? Do you fucking think you're fighting in a ring?" Xiao Chen sneered, and his offensive became more fierce. This Jun brother was stronger than Brother Bao, but it still didn't work. Bang bang bang. The two men collided in succession, and the middle-aged man was shocked and his blood surged. Finally, he couldn't bear it anymore. He opened his mouth and spit out a mouthful of blood with a wow. Bang! There was another muffled sound, and Xiao Chen punched the middle-aged man in the stomach. The latter hit the fitness equipment and spit out another mouthful of blood. The scene became quiet, and everyone looked at the three people in the middle with different expressions. Whether it was Brother Bao or Brother Jun, they didn't have the strength to fight again, and they were all seriously injured. It can be said that the battle is over. From the beginning to the end, it was less than 3 minutes, and the strength shown by Xiao Chen shocked everyone, including Li Hanho. His eyelids jumped, and then his eyes were hot. Brother Chen was even more powerful than he thought. Finally, someone would fight with him in the future. "Boy, want to run?" Suddenly, a thunderous roar came out, and Li Hanho was like a wild bear that launched an attack. He rushed to the door at a very fast speed, and then with 2 bangs, Ren Kuan and Lu Dague were kicked back by him one by one. Ouch! Ren Kuan screamed, rolled on the ground for a few rounds, and fell to the ground. Lu Dague was not in a good situation either. He gritted his teeth and endured the pain, and slowly got up from the ground. He knew that he could not take revenge today, and it would not be so easy to get away. "Brother Chen, how to deal with these 2 guys?" Li Hanho crossed his arms and blocked the door. "Hee hee." Xiao Chen laughed. He looked around and saw that all the people who came to apply for the job looked at him with horror. He shook his head secretly. Well, this time he didn't even need to show his power. If he really joined the company, he would probably be as obedient as a little lamb. "Ren Kuan, young Master Ren, what did you say just now?" Xiao Chen suppressed many thoughts and walked towards Ren Kuan. He decided to deal with these 2 guys who didn't know how to live or die first. I didn't say anything. Xiao Chen, I warn you, you'd better not touch me, otherwise I won't let you go. Snap. Before Ren Kuan finished speaking, a palm the size of a palm fan slapped on the back of his head. The force was so great that he almost fell to the ground. His head was buzzing, and he must have had a mild concussion. "If you dare to threaten Brother Chen, I'll beat you." Li Hanho came behind Ren Kuan at some point and said in a muffled voice. "Fuck you." Ren Kuan shook his head vigorously, trying to make himself more awake, and then turned around and roared at Li Hanho. "Pa!" Another big slap in the face, this time with greater force, directly made him turn around twice on the spot and spit out 2 bloody teeth. "If you dare to scold my mother, I'll beat you." Li Hanho's honest face became fierce. Ren Kuan was stunned, indeed stunned, his face was numb, and his head was buzzing, and he didn't even feel the pain when his teeth fell out. He suddenly felt that Xiao Chen's slaps a few days ago were too gentle. Compared with this bear man, it was just a gentle caress. Xiao Chen was watching from the side and shook his head. He originally wanted to cripple one of Ren Kuan's legs, but now seeing how pitiful he was, he really couldn't bear to do it. "Ren Kuan, are you still willful?" Ren Kuan shook his head vigorously. The 2 masters were lying on the ground vomiting blood, how could he still be willful? "Then do you still want to break one of my legs and make me kneel in front of you?" Xiao Chen asked again, his voice a little colder. He is a man who will take revenge. If someone slaps him, he will definitely slap and kick him back. Just because Ren Kuan wants to break one of his legs and make him kneel, he is not going to let this guy go easily. No, no. Bang. Xiao Chen kicked Ren Kuan in the stomach, and the latter fell to the ground, screaming. Remember, if you do it again, I will make you lie on the bed for the rest of your life. Xiao Chen stepped on Ren Kuen's chest, his voice cold and murderous. I don't dare. Feeling Xiao Chen's cold murderous aura, Ren Kuen shuddered, and fear surged from the bottom of his heart. Get lost. Xiao Chen was too lazy to argue with Ren Kuen. If this guy dared to retaliate again, he really didn't mind making this guy pay a heavy price. Yes. Ren Kuen no longer showed off his strength when he first came. He got up and staggered outside, not daring to say even a harsh word. And you, get out. Xiao Chen pointed at Jun and Bao. These two people should have taken money from others to help them get rid of disasters, and they were also seriously injured, so he was too lazy to deal with them. Jun and Bao supported each other, not daring to say a word, and slowly left the meeting room. Lu Dekue's body trembled slightly. Ren Kuen left, Jun and Bao also left, and he was the only one left. Sure enough, Xiao Chen's eyes fell on him. Lu Dekue, say what you just said again. Xiao Chen, I didn't say anything just now. Well, I heard that the company was recruiting people today, so I thought, after all, I used to be a member of the company, so I came back to see if I could help or something. Lu Dekue said with a forced smile. Really? Did I hear it wrong just now? It seemed like you asked me to kneel down and get out of the company? Xiao Chen, we are colleagues, how can I ask you to kneel down? You must have heard it wrong. Oh, I heard it wrong. Xiao Chen smiled, and his smile was a little playful. Lu Dekue looked at Xiao Chen's smile, his heart trembled, and he forced a smile and said, yes, I heard it wrong. Oh, then it's wrong. Now, listen carefully, I will give you two choices. 1, let him break one of your legs. Xiao Chen said, pointing at Li Hanho. 2, get out of the company from here. What? Choose one. Lu Dekue's face changed. He looked at Li Hanho, who was clenching his fists, and his heart shuddered again. He suppressed the humiliation and said, I choose the second one. Okay. Xiao Chen nodded. Dahan, you supervise from the side, and kick if he rolls 1 meter less. Brother Chen, leave it to me. Li Hanho smiled and nodded. This is fun. It's really interesting to follow Brother Chen. Former colleague, now, get out. Xiao Chen looked at Lu Dekue and said with a smile. Xiao Chen, can you save some face for me? Lu Dekue hesitated for a long time, but still didn't have the face to roll out, so he whispered. Bang. Xiao Chen's smile disappeared, his face darkened, and he slapped Lu Dekue in the face, knocking the latter to the ground. Save some face? Why the hell do you want face? Get out. Brother Chen told you to get out, get out. Li Hanho saw Xiao Chen getting angry and kicked Lu Dekue on the butt. The latter gritted his teeth and endured the humiliation, and rolled out with this kick. Xiao Chen looked at Lu Dekue's embarrassed appearance without any sympathy. He brought trouble upon himself. When Lu Dague disappeared at the door of the conference room, Xiao Chen turned his head to look at Xiao and others, and said in a calm tone, you just said that you also want to deal with me here? No. Xiao and others said in unison, and then shook their heads in unison. What a joke, didn't you see that Ren Kuen, who is more powerful than them, even had his teeth knocked out? Moreover, looking at this guy, he is obviously a ruthless man, and he is so strong. If you go against him, isn't that courting death? Then why are you still here? Get out. Xiao Chen's voice turned cold. You. A young man with a bit of temper was about to get angry, but was dragged away by his companions. Okay, friends who have not been eliminated, let's continue the interview. Xiao Chen's face turned faster than turning a book. It was as cold as ice just now, and a gentle smile immediately appeared again. All the applicants shuddered subconsciously. This future boss is not easy to provoke. However, some people were excited. The boss is so powerful, and it will definitely not be a loss to get involved with him. After a while, Li Hanho came back. Brother Chen, I kicked that guy twice and he has rolled away. Yeah. Xiao Chen nodded and pointed at Li Hanho. I declare that Li Hanho is accepted. All the applicants looked at the bear-like Li Hanho with awe. The guy's domineering and majestic appearance just now was still vivid in their minds. After more than an hour of individual interviews, including Li Hanho, a total of 22 people were left. Among them, a few people particularly caught Xiao Chen's attention. Their resumes said that they were retired soldiers or foreign troops, and their strength was about third-rate, and 2 of them reached second-rate. Congratulations, you have become a member of Qingcheng Company. Xiao Chen looked at these more than 20 people and smiled. Some of these people will be made into a sharp knife by him, a sharp knife that can protect Su Qing and make her invincible in Longhai.